I'm honored to be here, and I'm extremely proud to represent Sweden in Canada. I just wanted to give you a small personal notes when it comes to the issues that you're going to discuss today about creating a sustainable waterfront and create a sustainable city. A couple of weeks ago I was in Montreal at the big fair for the paper and pulp industry in Canada, and it was called the Paper Week, and I was invited there to deliver a speech. And from my hometown, a very small town between Gothenburg and Stockholm called Mariestad, it is a paper mill and a pulp factory in my old hometown, which I have been represented during all the years when I've been in Parliament. And you know, when I grew up in the beginning of the 60s, yes, I am that old, in the beginning of the 60s, and I looked at the chimneys from this paper mill, I thought it was pretty cool because the smoke that came out from the chimneys had so many different colors. And I thought, you know, that was pretty cool to see, right? And my mom started working at that paper mill when she was 16 years old. And when she was 65, she stopped working at the paper mill. So all these years she was working at the same place. And what I remember when I was a kid was when she took the bicycle and bicycled to the work and came back home, she had big holes on the stockings, on the leggings. And that was the reason from the colorful smoke, because there was so much sulfur acid in the smoke coming out from the chimneys. And when it was raining, it came down and actually destroyed the clothes of the people. And can you imagine that? That was in the 60s and in the beginning of 70s. And to be honest with you, I didn't even reflect upon it. That was just how it was. When me and my friends went to the river, located next to the paper mill, and we were fishing, we pulled out the line, you know, and took in. We had meters of organic materials, you know, climbed in to the hook when we took it up. It's amazing if you think about it. It's always fascinating to understand how little understanding we had about the impact we had on the environment when we let it be. And it was so obvious, it was so visible. And after that in my hometown, which I think is a great success story though, because all the waste that paper mill once produced, we threw it up to a waste dump, and the local politicians in my hometown were discussing that we should pile it up in a certain way to create a big mountain which we could use for ski hill, the downhill skiing, right? And we had great plans of doing this. Nowadays we don't even have materials enough to put on the waste dump, because the waste from this paper mill is used in our district energy system and is heating up the apartments and the houses in my hometown. And it's also producing electricity at the same time, which the city's own electrical company is selling out to the grid in Sweden. And we are making a lot of money from it as well. And the waste is pretty none after all this. So it has been a great shift. And the water is clean. You can go and fish in my hometown river. There is no organic materials any longer. And the chimneys only have white smoke from steam coming out from the chimneys. It's a great change. And I think Sweden was and still is a progressive country, and we started it very early in realizing that we need to do changes. This is not sustainable. And I'm proud to represent a country that has decided itself that we want to be a leading nation in creating sustainable countries, sustainable climate, of course, and also fulfill all the agreements from Paris Agreement and so on, telling the young generation that you need to stand up and fight for a better world for the future. Lakeview Group and Mississauga, you will be honored in the future for the work you are doing, because the future generations will look upon politicians and developers and say, what did you do to create a sustainable future for me and my kids? And I'm sure that you will be on the right side in the history.